David Arthur Russell Howell, Baron Howell of Guildford PC, is a British Conservative politician, journalist, and economic consultant, having been successively Secretary of State for Energy and then for Transport under Margaret Thatcher. Howell has more recently been a Minister of State in the Foreign Office from the election in 2010 until the reshuffle of 2012. Along with William Hague, Sir George Young and Kenneth Clarke, he is one of the few cabinet ministers from the 1979 to 97 governments who still holds high office in the party, being its deputy leader in the House of Lords. His daughter, Frances, is married to the former Chancellor of the Exchequer, Conservative MP George Osborne. Family. Howell is the son of Colonel Arthur Howell and grandson of Lieutenant Colonel Ernest Alfred Russell Howell, and his wife Beryl Stewart Bowater, daughter of Sir Frank Henry Bowater, 1st Baronet, and Ethel Anita Fryer. Howell's father, an army officer with the Royal Artillery for many years, lived at 5 Hertford Place, London. He was decorated with the awards of the Territorial Decoration and Companion of the Distinguished Service Order. Early life. Howell was educated at Eton College before entering King's College, Cambridge, where he graduated in 1959 with a first-class Master of Arts in Economics. He went to work in HM Treasury, joining the Treasury Economics section from 1959 to 1960. In 1960 he wrote the book Principles to Practice, published jointly, and spent 4 years as a journalist, leader writer and special correspondent on the Daily Telegraph. He succeeded Geoffrey Howe as editor of Crossbow from 1962 to 1964 before he unsuccessfully contested the constituency of Dudley in the 1964 general election. He then became director of the Conservative Political Centre between 1964 and 1966, writing and publishing the pamphlet The Conservative Opportunity. Political career. 2 years later, in 1966, he was elected MP for the safe seat of Guildford in Surrey, for the Conservative Party, a seat he held until retiring at the 1997 general election. On the 6th of June 1997 he was made a life peer as Baron Howell of Guildford, of Penton Musie, in the county of Hampshire. Howell, a junior minister in the Edward Heath government, served as Lord Commissioner of Treasury between 1970 and 1971 and Parliamentary Secretary for the Civil Service Department between 1970 and 1972, and played a key role in the establishment of the Central Policy Review Staff, a Central Capability Policy unit based in the Cabinet Office. He also held the offices of Under-Secretary for Employment, Under-Secretary for Northern Ireland, Minister of State for Northern Ireland and Minister of State for Energy. When Margaret Thatcher was elected in 1979, she made Howell her first Secretary of State for Energy and then moved him to Transport in the reshuffle of September 1981 and until 1983. During that time he wrote the book Freedom and Capital, published 1981. In 1979 he was also sworn into the Privy Council. He then wrote the book Blind Victory, a study in income, wealth and power, published 1986. In 1987 he became chairman of the Select Committee on Foreign Affairs. He later wrote the book The Edge of Now, New Questions for Democracy in the Network Age, published in 2000. In 2007 he published Out of the Energy Labyrinth, and in 2013 Old Links and New Ties, Power and Persuasion in the Age of Networks, mainly on the Commonwealth. In 2016 he published Empires in Collision, The Green vs. Black Struggle for Our Energy Future. From 2005 to 2014 he was President of the British Institute of Energy Economics, and Chairman of the Windsor Energy Group since 2003. He was decorated with the award of Grand Cordon of the Order of the Sacred Treasure of Japan. In 2001, in the House of Lords, he was deputy leader of the opposition from 2005 to 2010. On the election of the coalition government, he was quickly recommended to Foreign Secretary by the Prime Minister as an enthusiastic advocate of HS2, the only Conservative in the government with the relevant ministerial experience. In September 2012, in the September 2012 reshuffle, having served 2 years as initially agreed, he was asked by the Prime Minister to stand down to provide a Foreign Office place for Baroness Wasi. Lord Howell was opposition spokesperson for Foreign and Commonwealth Affairs from 2000 to 2010. He is now chairman of the new House of Lords International Relations Committee. Lord Howell is also chairman of the Commonwealth Societies Association. Howell has long been an active supporter of the Commonwealth, lobbying its many members from the Business Council, Secretariat, and Eminent Persons Group. The Commonwealth, with strong connections to Africa and African nations economic groups, seeks to promote Britain's role as a friend and trading partner of countries across the region, and to alleviate poverty-stricken areas. On the 29th of September 2011, Lord Howell chaired an important meeting of the Eminent Persons Group at the Royal Commonwealth Institute in London, with heads of government and state being present. Britain took an active part in coming to the rescue in responding to Darfur crisis, in which thousands were victims in the desert civil war of pestilence, famine and destitution. Lord Howell has been a powerful advocate for the lawless nation of Zimbabwe to return to the Commonwealth when he declared he was living for the day. He revealed the deep undercurrents of feelings within the UK which will actively support human rights defenders when fighting for the rights in Commonwealth countries. He has likewise encouraged the application of the new state of South Sudan to join the Commonwealth of Nations when they are fit for purpose. For the election of May 2010 until the reshuffle of 2012, Lord Howell served as Minister of State in the Foreign Office in David Cameron's government under William Hague as Foreign Secretary. From September 2012 to April 2013, he was personal advisor to the Foreign Secretary on energy and resource security. Lord Howell has never lobbied on behalf of the IAEA or performed any role related to it at any time. He had nothing to do with the state visit of the Chinese chairman or with the deal to build a nuclear power station. He has, however, described the French-Chinese nuclear Hinkley Point C deal as one of the worst deals ever for the British consumer. In November 2012, Greenpeace released secret film of an interview with Lord Howell about the advantages of natural gas over wind power, in which he said that David Cameron is not familiar with these issues, doesn't understand them, but that George Osborne, his son-in-law, is of course getting this message and is putting pressure on. In May 2013, he was appointed President of the Energy Industries Council. In July 2013, he said, in a Lord's discussion on fracking, there are large uninhabited and desolate areas, certainly in parts of the northeast, where there is plenty of room for fracking, well away from anybody's residence, and where it could be conducted without any threat to the rural environment. After much adverse reaction, he apologized, said he'd been totally misunderstood, had never said the North was desolate, as misreported by some papers, and that he was thinking of drilling preferably in areas left derelict by the Industrial Revolution in both the Northeast and Northwest, which needed repair and new investment. He went on to say he wanted the derricks in unloved places. Marriage an issue. Lord Howell married in 1967 Carrie Davina Wallace, daughter of David John Wallace and wife Joan Prudence McGaw, and had 3 children. Hon. Frances Victoria Howell, a writer, wife of George Gideon Oliver Osborne MP. Hon. Catherine Kate Lavina Howell, wife of Paul Bain, by whom she had Jack Daniel McConnell and Oliver Bartholomew. Hon. Toby David Howell, married for 6 years to Isabel Uzera de Marino with 2 children, Tristan David, born 2011, and Grace Isabel, born 2014. Styles of address: 1936 to 1966, Mr. David A.R. Howell. 1966 to 1979, Mr. David A.R. Howell MP. 1979 to 1997, the Right Honourable David A.R. Howell MP. 1997, the Right Honourable David A.R. Howell. 1997, the Right Honourable the Lord Howell of Guildford PC. Ministerial career. Bibliography: Charles Moseley, editor, Burke's Peerage, Baronetage and Amp Knightage, 107th edition, 3 volumes limited, 2003, Volume 1, pages 51 and 456. Charles Moseley, Burke's Peerage and Baronetage, 107th edition, Volume 2, page 1989. Harris O.B.E. Robin. Not for Turning, Margaret Thatcher, London. Thatcher, Margaret. Path to Power, London. Thatcher, Margaret. Downing Street Years, London. Thatcher, Margaret. The Iron Lady, London.